Hey everyone, Gil here at Camppatton Family Compound. Well, I've been spending a lot of time outdoors in the hot sun, a bit more than I want to, but it's one of those things you have to do if you want to have a good looking lawn, free of weeds, looking nice, and having a garden with food in it that you can eat and help sustain yourself. Well, I'm going to want to show you a little bit of what I've been doing out here as far as garden-wise goes, and how stuff is coming along for what I've been planting and growing. So let's start at the tall end down here. So some of you may remember these when they were a lot smaller. These are those 4 tomato plants, the beefsteaks that I was using the wall of water on to get an early start to them. And as you can see, they're already up nice and tall up here. And let me zoom in here. I can show you the size of some of these tomatoes in here. We got some big tomatoes hidden in. I can get it in here to show it in here. So these are doing pretty good. I actually thinking now I should have gone higher with these tomato racks here, kept them the full 5 feet. There's a lot of oh, I got one that's starting to get ripe in there. Look at that one. Okay, so these are coming along okay, getting a lot of fruit on them here. Now this one here, this is one of those clones I started when I took a little snipping off and I stuck it in the water and let it gain roots and then planted it. I believe from the looks of this looks like the Sunsweet orange cherry tomato, and I'll show you some more of those in back that I took the snipping off of. But it's doing okay, and it's got a few tomatoes in there. So now the one next to it here, this is one of the Romas I started late. Next year I'll be starting the Romas and using the wall of water as well. And then here we have the patio tomato or container tomato. I've got 4 tomatoes on it. It's a little dwarf tomato. My wife, though, she got hers into the pot sooner from the little itty bitty 4-inch ones. She got it up into the big pot at her place sooner, and so she's got big tomatoes on it already. This was my experiment with basil for trying to start it early indoors in a little jug, and it's starting to go to seed here. So, but it was one of my experiments. I was trying to see if it was worth it trying to put it in a pot. Next year I'm going to try it in a 5-gallon where it's got more room and stuff. Here's some bunch of borage that my wife sent back with me the last trip, and so when she uprooted that stuff, she didn't think even half of it was going to survive. And looking at it, it's taking a heat beating from the heat, but I'm keeping it wet, and it is getting some small little fresh starts in there. So let's head on over here to the far side behind the shop. Let's start over with the sunflowers over here. Now the problem with the area where these sunflowers are was something I didn't count on. I figured, okay, I got the house there, the shop here, it'll protect it from the wind coming up. What happens is the wind comes around the corner there and just comes straight across and hits the trees and funnels over this way and comes right on around here. And it was just blowing these suckers over big time. I had to get some big stakes for them and they could hold them up. But I only had 3 of them die on me when they were little. The bugs chewed them off. But the other thing I got out here growing with them is I've got I got 3 cucumber plants, and they're starting to set blossoms now. And so I got to get in there, spend more time out here, and get some weeding done on those. Now the containers I moved from across the street, the IBC totes, are doing pretty good here. The rainbow chard is going bonkers. I'm going to have to get in there and thin it out a bunch and take it over to the rabbits and the chickens. The next one here is some strawberries I brought back on my last trip, and in a couple days this thing had gone from green. This thing has gone from green to red in just a couple days, and so got new fruit setting on it here and a whole bunch of new flowers getting ready to sprout. So they're enjoying the sun and the heat and how wet this one container is. The borage is loving it too. Now the next couple here I have is where I planted what I thought was cantaloupe, but the 2 or 3 I gave my wife to take back to California. She says it's looking like honeydew. And if I look here at it, these are kind of green, except this one here now is just starting the last day or two to change up its coloring on it and get the cantaloupe feel to it. Usually the other cantaloupe I've planted have started that a little bit sooner, but that one's just starting to do it. And the next one over here, I got another cantaloupe plant, and I got some basil. This basil's doing a lot better than the one in the experiment one. And I stuck in here another one of the clone tomatoes I did, and so it's doing pretty good in here, except that the cantaloupe is trying to latch onto it and pull it down. Come on, there we go. Get that loose from it. Move this over so it drapes over the side a little bit better. There we go. And this one here is 2 more of them, and I've got, see, these looking not like cantaloupe but more like honeydew, but we'll see what happens as it goes along. I'm probably going to need to work on the watering on this one here. From here down, I used recycled soaker hose. I think I'm going to have to change it out and put some new some brand new soaker hose on it, because this old soaker hose just isn't working right. It's not soaking. So in this one here I have some lettuce. This is just some trimmings I just pulled off of it to clean it up a little bit. But I got 4 of the Grand Rapids and 1 romaine. Actually, I need to pull off some of the stuff off the bottom here so it doesn't keep dragging on it growing. Get rid of the old stuff here. There we go. And then I got a romaine tomato that I thought it was the pots, that just wasn't going to grow. And then last week all of a sudden it poked up after 3 weeks of being in that in the starting pot without doing anything. So now the next one here was another experiment. This is daikon radishes, and I probably have only about half of them that survived. A couple of them that were here in the front were doing good. All of a sudden it looks like something either knocked out here, pulled it up and stuck it back in or something, but they died. But these here you can see are setting seed pods, and supposedly it's not supposed to set seed pods until its 2nd year. So I'm not sure what's going on here. But the one back in here has a really big stalk on it. I don't know if you can see how big that stalk is back there. So I got to do some research and find out if I need to pull these. If anybody knows when I need to pull the daikon radishes, please put a comment for me down below. Like I said, this is just an experiment. And I got another romaine here that's several weeks old. Now these next 4 tomatoes here, these tomatoes are the Sun Sweet Orange cherry tomatoes. And I actually look like, yep, it just fell right off in my hand. I got a little cherry tomato. Very good. So I'm gonna have to bring the grandsons over here and let them. There's about 6 more in here, and let them each pick one. So those are those there. This is another experiment I was going to try to get done, but this barrel I never really got a chance to do much with it other than fill it up. It is full of manure tea. I got about, I think this is a, what does it say on it here? It's not a 55, it's more like a 45 gallon barrel. It might be 55. It's a little skinny though, I think. But I was going to use the little aquaponics pots and drill a couple holes in it here, and because they're too big to go in here, I want to keep these for keeping it filled. Put a couple aquaponic pots in there, and I was going to try to plant some cantaloupe in it to see how it would do, but I don't know. I may put a fall plant in there, like some lettuce when it starts to cool down. Put some lettuce in it or something to see how that does. So anyway, so that's this here. Oh, I do have one more. If you look way over there, you can see a sunflower bent over. I got another sunflower in one of the IBC totes over there, and a couple more of the daikon radishes. So just for my little experiment garden here, I think things are doing pretty well. I'm learning a bunch about the stuff, what does and doesn't work. I'm keeping it all written down in a notebook, what things are happening when I need to plant stuff. And I think I'm going to wind up ordering a couple more sets of the wall of water, so I can actually get the rest of the other tomatoes starting sooner, so they can grow good, and even to get the lettuce started sooner as well. The wall of water won't work for the cantaloupe because it's a viney thing and it spreads out so much, and I don't think it'll really do, but I will try one or two of them next year to see if the wall of water works for them as well. I will also be working on the basil, so I can get the basil growing sooner, so it doesn't, so it's a lot more full, and I can harvest more than this is here right now by the time the heat hits us. So there's the things I learned about gardening, and don't be afraid to start your own garden. Whether you're in an apartment, you can do container gardens. As you can see, most of my stuff is in containers. There's only a couple things that is in the ground over here. The sunflowers and some of the cantaloupe. Everything else is in some sort of container, and it's doing good. I mean, seriously, it's doing absolutely fantastic when you look at the rainbow chard. So you can plant a garden, you can get stuff growing. It may not be a lot, but everything you can grow and eat yourself saves on your food bill, all right? And gives you a little bit of sustainability longer. One of the things that my wife got, my mom used to have them too, was that small container, patio container tomato here. This one here, because you can get a couple dozen tomatoes off of it, if you're in a nice climate, and if you start it right and you get it into a big enough pot to begin with. The problem with this one is I waited too long to put it into a 5-gallon pot. It was in a little 4-inch pot, and I just waited too long putting it in there. If you can fit a 27.5-gallon tub, they sell them at Home Depot, Lowe's, and other places. They're about the same size as this half 55-gallon barrel cut in half here. You can put these on a patio and you can get a lot of tomatoes from a couple of those pots. All right. Now, if you like what the videos I do here and talking about this stuff and the information I'm trying to give out, please subscribe down below. Click that little red subscribe button, turn it gray, and then click the notification bell next to it. And that ensures that you get a notification from YouTube every time I post a video. All right. Also, if you have friends that might be interested in this stuff, please share it out with them. Down below there's a little tab button that says share. You can click on it and you can share it via social media. You can also, if you if you don't do social media much, you can just go up into the URL bar, the address bar, click the URL, put it in an email, and email it to them. Anyways, and give me thumbs up as well. So as always, everyone, stay safe, stay happy, stay prepared, and plant something this year, okay? Take care.